Welcome back to G Fun Facts Online, the channel where we dive deep into the coolest, most mind-blowing facts from across the globe and throughout history. Today, we're journeying back in time, way back, to explore a civilization that looked up at the stars and saw not just twinkling lights, but the very blueprint of their existence, the ancient Maya. Now, when we talk about ancient civilizations and astronomy, the Maya are in a league of their own. They weren't just casual stargazers. Their understanding of the cosmos was incredibly profound and woven into the very fabric of their society, from their rituals and calendars to the stunning architecture they left behind. And what's super exciting is that even now, new discoveries, especially of tiny artifacts like figurines, are constantly giving us fresh insights into their world. So let's start with the basics. Astronomy was fundamental to Mayan life. These weren't just hobbyists. They meticulously tracked the sun, the moon, the planet Venus, and even specific star clusters and constellations. This knowledge wasn't locked away in an ivory tower. It was practical, essential for survival. They developed incredibly sophisticated calendar systems. You've probably heard of the 260-day sacred year, the Tzolk'in, and a 365-day secular year, the Hab. These weren't just approximations. They were as precise as the calendars we use today. These systems, combined with their deep understanding of astronomical cycles, told them when to plant, when to harvest, crucial stuff for an agricultural society. Get this. They could even predict solar eclipses. Imagine the power of knowing when the sun would disappear. These events weren't just scientific curiosities. They held immense religious meaning and often triggered elaborate rituals to honor or appease their gods. One of the few Mayan books to survive the ravages of time, the Dresden Codex, is like an astronomical cheat sheet packed with calculations for the cycles of Venus, the sun, and the moon, alongside prophecies and even tips on the best days for farming. This deep connection to the cosmos naturally bled into their religious beliefs. For the Maya, the movements of the celestial bodies were basically the gods communicating their will and actions. So, big astronomical events like solstices, equinoxes, or the sun passing directly overhead, what's known as the zenithal passage, dictated a complex schedule of rituals and ceremonies, all led by a specialized priestly class. And their buildings. Many Mayan temples and observatories were architectural marvels designed to interact with these celestial events. Think of El Caracol, the observatory at Chichen Itza, or the famous pyramid of Kukulkan, also known as El Castillo. These structures weren't just randomly placed. They were precisely aligned with celestial happenings. The pyramid at Chichen Itza, for example, creates this incredible visual during the equinoxes. A shadow that looks like a giant serpent slithering down its side, perfectly aligning with a carving of their serpent god, Kukulkan. Talk about a dramatic way to mark the changing seasons and symbolize their cosmic connection. Now this is where things get really fascinating from an archaeological perspective. How do we peek into these ancient rituals? One amazing way is through Mayan figurines. These small figures, often crafted from clay or even rubber, weren't just decorations. They were active participants in ceremonies. Just recently, in 2022, archaeologists in El Salvador, at a site called San Isidro, found 5 incredibly expressive clay figurines. They call them Bolinas-type puppets, right on top of a ruined pyramid. These puppets are about 2,400 years old. They depict male and female figures, and some even had removable heads. The researchers think these were used in public rituals, maybe to reenact myths or historical events, represent real people, or even symbolically bring deceased individuals back to life during ceremonies. They were likely dressed up with clothes and wigs to look even more lifelike. And the coolest part? Their facial expressions could appear to change depending on how you looked at them, suggesting they were designed to be really dynamic and impactful during ritual performances. This isn't an isolated find. Back in 2006, in a royal tomb in northern Guatemala, another set of 23 small ceramic figures, about 1,500 years old, was discovered. These figures were arranged in a circle and included a deceased king with his animal spirit companion, a warrior queen, dancers, scribes, a female shaman, and even dwarves with removable helmets who looked like they were ready for a ritual boxing match, possibly to summon rain. These figurines are loaded with symbolism, like the Ik symbol, which represents breath, wind, and life, really hammering home their ritual importance. These weren't just static little statues. Their designs often allowed for movement, suggesting they were literally animated during these ritual dramas. They could have represented the participants in the rituals, witnesses to important events, or even ancestors being called upon. And finding similar figurines across Central America hints at a wider network of shared cultural and ritual practices throughout the Mesoamerican world. The story of the Maya is far from over. The field of Mayan astroarcheology is buzzing with activity. Ongoing excavations, the analysis of artifacts like these amazing figurines, and the continued decipherment of Mayan hieroglyphs are constantly refining what we know. For instance, a recently unearthed altar in Tikal seems to have been painted by an artisan from Teotihuacan, another major ancient city. This discovery is shedding light on the complex relationships and potential conflicts between these two powerhouses, including how Teotihuacan might have established its own ritual spaces right within Tikal. By looking at the intersection of the Mayas' sophisticated astronomical knowledge and the symbolic messages packed into their figurines, we're piecing together an ever more vivid picture of their ritual life. These small figures, once brought to life in sacred ceremonies, are giving us profound clues into how the ancient Maya saw their universe and their own place within it, a world where the dance of the stars and the will of the gods were deeply, undeniably connected to every aspect of human existence. It just goes to show, sometimes the smallest artifacts can tell the biggest stories. That's all the time we have for today on G Fun Facts Online. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to keep looking up and looking closer at the wonders around us. Catch you next time.